Okay, so I got a big old stack of shark movies here. I've watched some doozies this week. I watched some doozies this week. I decided to. I watched Cruel Jaws, and I watched Raiders of the Lost Shark, and I watched House Shark, just so I could get as many, just cram a couple of extra shark movies in there. And just on those three, Raiders of the Lost Shark, I actually shut off because it was fucking horrible, like really really bad. Like it wasn't funny. It was trying to be funny, but was just failing miserably. It was shot on a budget of about $9, and they got the people that just like were maybe the director's friends or something, I guess, to be in it because it the there's a scene where they're sitting and they're talking about something, and it's the most amateurish, horrible. Oh, it was awful. It was awful. House Shark, on the other hand, was fantastic. House Shark will be a movie that I definitely try and seek out on physical media to add to the collection. Is it bad? It's so bad that it's amazing. The writing in it is terrible, but awesome. It's so lowbrow, and it's just it was awesome. It's free on Tubi, so if you decide you want to watch a absolutely ridiculous movie, let me set it up, okay? Just to tell you how stupid this movie is. This is in the opening few minutes of the movie, not a spoiler. So this it starts off with this dad and his son, and dad's getting ready to go out on a date, and so he's got the babysitter comes over, and the babysitter tucks the kid in, and she goes downstairs and she's reading Moby Dick, and she's sitting there reading it, and all of a sudden there's a fart sound, right? And she's like looking around, and she's like, oh, it must have been the food I ate. So she gets up, she takes off all of her clothes, and she goes to the bathroom, and she's sitting on the toilet completely naked, and just there's like sounds as she's going to the bathroom, and she's now, instead of reading Moby Dick, she got the Cliff Notes version of Moby Dick to read while she's on the toilet. All of a sudden, the POV camera goes into the water pipe, and it's crawling through the water pipe, and it goes up through the toilet, and it's just it's just like a bum in the toilet. There's no poop. It's just the toilet seat from the inside, and a bum, and not like in a gross, vulgar sort of way. You don't see front parts, even though you kind of would expect to. But it looks like she's sitting on like a copy machine. It's just it goes up, and then the shark kills her and eats her. It's so goddamn bad. It's so bad. It's bad and absolutely wonderful. Every scene had something that was. Did they really just say that, or did they really just do that? It was absurd in all the best ways. And then Cruel Jaws, and Cruel Jaws was exactly what it was supposed to be. It was a bad shark movie, and it seemed like, and actually after reading about it, that a lot of the cuts of the shark and stuff were taken from different Jaws movies. Apparently, they didn't care about copyright laws and legitimately stole actual footage, um, and put it in the movie. Um, so there was discussion about the movie actually being pulled off of market, which would be cool because it would make the one that I bought even more of a collector's item. And you guys know how I feel about collector's items. So, I mean, that would be cool. But yeah, it was not great, but it was not terrible either. It was exactly what you expected. It was just bad enough to be wonderful. The bad guys were super duper bad guys, and it was a fun time. It was a fun time. So I wanted to talk about some other shark movies. So we're going to talk about bad shark movies. Okay, I don't think we can have a conversation about bad shark movies and not start it off with kind of the granddaddy of all bad shark movies. A movie that they made one, two, three, four, five, six. Holy shit. 6 movies of. And that is the Sharknado collection. I got 6 in the collection here, so I don't own it by itself. And the reason I have that, the collection comes with the regular versions of all of the Sharknado's movies, whereas these all have a fair amount of special features, which is great. And then a couple of them have, I think, an extended version, or at least deleted and extended scenes. So first we've got the classic Sharknado. It's actually a great movie. The cameos in this alone make it worth watching. And then Sharknado 2, the second one, Shark Happens. And that's the extended version. That's not in the collection. Sharknado 3, exclusive Sharktacular edition. Sharknado 3, Aw Hell No. And Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens. Never Seen Viva Sharknado version. And then Sharknado 5, Global Swarming. The Apocalypse Has Teeth. Look at that. That's freaking fantastic. And then the front, which has got a little bit of a pop out, which is cool. It's got a Sharknado bottle opener. And then the collection where Sharknado 6 is, I think it's called It's About Time. Look at that inside. Great. Great series of terrible, terrible movies. You have to be in the mood for them. Now, they are relentlessly stupid, but it knows that, and it's completely self-aware. So don't go in expecting a good movie, and you won't be disappointed. So those are the King Daddies. Those are the big guys. Those are the Sharknado movies are amongst the best of the worst. My buddy Chris once texted me, said, "Oh my God, they made this movie called Sharkensaw Women's Prison Massacre." And he's like, it looks so terrible. It looks like something you would love. Of course I love it. I own it, right? It's another one. Like, I mean, I literally couldn't pass this movie up if I came across it, and I couldn't, so I bought it. Sharkensaw Women's Prison Massacre. And there's not even really a lot of massacre in it. It's really, really tame. But it doesn't look like it would be tame. It looks like it would be a straight up booby fest. And then like really shitty CGI. But here it is. Next, we've got a series of Mega Shark movies. And again, just like Sharknado, I gotta have the Mega Shark collection along with Mega Shark versus Octopus and Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. And this one has 8 movies in it. A Toxic Shark, Shark in Venice, Malibu Shark Attack, Shark Ban, Shark Attack 2, Shark Attack 3, Megalodon, and then Shark Zone. Absolute classics. No, they're all terrible. They're all terrible. I don't even know that I've watched all 8 movies in this collection. I know I've seen a few of these, but I have watched the Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus on this side and the Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark, and these are fantastic. Look at this. Look at this. You've got a movie with Debbie Gibson, yes, the pop singer. You've got Christopher Judge, who was Teal'c in the Stargate SG-1 TV show. And you've got, to Tyler's point, you've got a robot shark with a laser beam in its mouth shooting at Mega Shark. So, just an awesome series of movies if you like absolute garbage shark movies. Now, I am going to add a few more movies to that, but I'm going to cover up one, okay? Because this was in the other pile specifically for this 4th movie, which I'm not going to show you just yet because we're going to talk about it in the good movies. Because you're not going to believe that behind these fingers lies one of the best shark movies. Okay? In this collection, we have Sharktopus, which is a shark with an octopus body. Fantastic movie. Roger Corman, the classic director of, you know, all those horrible 80s movies. So Sharktopus, Dino Shark, and then Jersey Shore Shark Attack. Okay, this one's really, really bad. This one's fantastic. This one's great. This one's bad. And the one behind my fingers is fantastic. Legitimately fantastic. I do own one other shark movie that is terrible. Go down to sharks. Let me go to my library. Shark Bait, 6-film collection. Now, in here is Mississippi River Sharks, Ozark Shark, Swamp Shark, Zombie Shark, and a bonus of Alligator Alley. But the real reason to own this collection is right there. Santa Jaws. And I know that you weren't going to believe me that this was a real movie, but it really is. It's awful. Like, absolutely awful. High up there on the level of terrible. So we've gotten that out of the way. In the world of bad shark movies, and that is Ghost Shark with its incredible lenticular screen cover. Okay, and in this movie, water. The shark is a ghost, but he can't just attack people. He can only attack someone when they're interacting with water. For instance, there's a scene where the characters are doing a car wash, and as you would typically have, the girls in bikinis washing and scrubbing down cars, the buckets of the water, and he reaches in with the sponge, reaches in, and the shark comes out of the bucket and bites his arm off and kills him. Fantastic. Kids in the street with the fire hydrant, blasting the water onto them. They're all running around, getting all wet, like, this is the best. And the shark jumps out of the hose, out of the water coming out of the hydrant, and chomps the kid in half. It's like a little torso of a kid walking around, no top hat, and then just falls up. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. If you are looking for something to just laugh and have a great time with, Ghost Shark is easily the best of the bad shark movies. I mean, I love the Sharknado movies, and they are the granddaddies, but this is probably hands down maybe the best. Up there with House Shark, which is funny. So good. There's a lot of just really inventive deaths in it. Just a very, very fun shark movie. Now we're going to move on to actually good shark movies. In the realm of good shark movies, there's 3 that I own digitally but do not own on physical, and that's fine. And that is the 47 Meters Down series. The first one's actually very, very good. And the second one, not so good. But the first one is fantastic. It's a very good, intense shark movie. These girls are going scuba diving or shark watching in the cage, and it becomes disconnected and it falls, and they can't get rescuers to them because there's sharks in the area, so they're running out of air. It's an intense movie. It's well put together. I think it's like PG-13, so it's not like a violent movie. It's just a well put together thriller movie. The second one, kind of garbage. There's some weird things that they can have conversations with each other underwater, even though none of them have radios. It's if you think about it too much, it all falls apart. But it's stupid. Just don't waste your time. The next series that I have digitally but not on physical media is Deep Blue Sea. The first one is, again, fantastic, about sharks. Their brain is manipulated. They genetically engineer these sharks to overproduce chemicals in their brain so that way they can pull it out and put it into Alzheimer's patients because it shows benefits. So then they break out as you would expect them to. Deep Blue Sea 2, again, garbage. Looks like it was shot for around $75, so better than the $9 that Raiders of the Lost Shark was made with, but absolute trash. Like it seems so low budget, and it shows every dollar on the screen. It's not good. And I haven't seen part 3 because part 2 was terrible. So Deep Blue Sea. And then lastly, Open Water, And again, I have only seen the first one. I haven't seen parts 2 or 3, maybe because they're not bad enough. But Open Water, the first one, is very, very good movie. It's a couple out, scuba diving with a group. They go under, they're diving, and the boat leaves, apparently forgetting all about them. And then they, have to live multiple days with sharks circling. Basically, the way that Quint describes his time in the water in Jaws is basically what these two people go through. In the realm of not very good shark movies, Shark Night, not a good movie. As even a bad, it's not even a good. It's not even bad enough to be good. Like it's just not good. I would avoid this one. I mean, I wouldn't because clearly I own it, but I would probably just stay away from it. In another realm of kind of not really that good, Dark Tide with Halle Berry, not a great movie. She's like a boat captain, and she's she's going under, like she's not able to pay her bills, and somebody comes along and offers her a ton of money to go out and try and like find these sharks, and she takes the money and tries. Sequels of shark movies always drop like a brick comparatively when compared to the other genres. They're almost as big of a drop in quality as Disney sequels. 100%. Absolutely agree with literally every word there. Thank you. All the sharks of the film, she doesn't look like a captain, right? That's yeah. With a bank about to take her boat, she accepts a lucrative deal from an extreme, thrill-seeking businessman who wants her to lead a dive with great whites outside of a cage. Not good. Let's talk about this movie that's hidden behind my fingies. Now, this is a fantastic freaking movie. I I owned it for years without watching it because I kind of assumed it was similar to the movies that it's packaged with here. Like it might be a terrible movie, right? It legitimately seemed like it might be bad. But then I sat down one day and I watched it, and it's absolutely incredible. It's a really, really good shark movie with an outlandish premise. Now, you think of an outlandish premise, somebody's sitting there with friends and they're like, you know what we should do? We should make this shark movie, blah blah blah, and people will love it. And his friends are all looking at him like, okay. And then they like figure out a way to make that terrible idea great. You know, that's what this movie was. A ridiculous idea that somehow got turned into being a really, really freaking good movie. And that is a movie called Bait. The plot line for Bait is that there's an earthquake and a tsunami, and the tsunami washes a bunch of sharks and floods a grocery store. So all the people inside the grocery store have to get on top of the like frozen food cabinets and try and avoid the sharks. And there's sharks swimming through the aisles, and there's people in a garage underneath that's starting to flood from the ground, cracking and some of the water coming through from the store and from the earthquake and stuff. It's a fantastic movie. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet, that's actually one that I would highly recommend you seek out. Next, in the good shark movie list, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the highest budget shark movie out of all of them, The Meg. Jason Statham, just a fun, ridiculous movie. Big budget, completely unbelievable. If you haven't got a chance to see it and you're in for like just a stupid, fun, loud, ridiculous shark movie, that's a good one. It's a good way to go. We're getting up to the top. As Macho Man Randy Savage would say, the cream rises to the top. Next, we have a series of shark movies that some of you might be familiar with, and that is Jaws. We got Jaws for the Revenge. Pretty freaking terrible, but still not unwatchable, but as close as you can get and still be a Jaws movie. Jaws 3, Jaws 3D, fantastic movie in my opinion. I think it's great. There's some really terrible cheesy effects in it, but I love the 3D. I thought the movie was ridiculous and fun, just ridiculous enough to not make you angry you're watching the movie, just enough to have it be an enjoyable experience. Jaws 2, the return of Roy Scheider as Chief Brody after having killed the first shark. Now he's got to deal with, I forget how it's related. I don't think it's I forget exactly how it's tied into the first movie. But then, of course, you've got probably the best shark movie of all time. Can't really say more about this than hasn't already been told. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. It's a fantastic freaking movie. As a movie, it's fantastic. It's so well filmed. It's funny. It's intense. It's grand. It's got little moments. It's just, I mean, Steven Spielberg is a master. He put out a masterpiece. Easily the best shark movie ever made. But it's not my favorite. Not my favorite. My personal favorite. Now, I know this isn't as good of a movie as Jaws. My favorite shark movie came out of nowhere. I didn't expect it to be as good as it is. And that is a movie called The Shallows. It is intense. I've seen Jaws a billion times, right? So there's, and I'm not typically scared by movies anyway, but definitely not a movie I've watched, 8 times a year since I was as old enough to watch movies. So while Jaws is scary, and I understand why it caused a panic and caused people not to want to go in the water, I get all that. From my perspective, I look at it and it's a phenomenally well-made movie. But for me, when I was watching The Shallows the first time, I was like in it. Like it was intense. I loved her plight out there alone. She'd kill a crab and she would eat it and share it with her broken wing seagull next to her. It's just she's smart. She's a smart character. She's trying to survive. This shark is legitimately, just like in Jaws, trying to torment her in ways. She never seems to be able to get the upper hand against this creature, and it's such a well-made movie. Now, it's not as good as Jaws as far as well-made, but it's intense. Blake Lively, this might be the only movie I know. Oh, no. Simple Plan. That movie's fantastic too. So she's in 2 movies that I didn't expect her to be incredible in. I don't know that I knew her name before this. I knew she was married to Ryan Reynolds, but I didn't realize it was that she was as good of an actress, because she's by herself pretty much this entire movie. My personal pick for my favorite shark movie. What a great cover too. Oh, it's a good flick. It's a good flick. Again, if you haven't seen it, check it out. That shark is absolutely terrifying. It's good. It's a good flick. So that's that. That is the video for tonight.